all they need to do is select and pick their fights accordingly. 3x Esports, they're also trying to traverse and make their way in from that southern belt. But Mani has managed to get the better out of Kurama, and I think we do see Mani for the first time today in the evening, because I haven't really seen this player playing. So, Qureshi Sports resorting to one of their substitutes as T20 Regicide. They have decided to take over the southern side of the map as Team Bablu. Span gets the better out of 52 Esports. Firo getting taken down from the lobby. Payne has been, taken off from his vehicle. But look at Tyrant. He's a little scared. He's a little worried, because now 52, or rather the players of 3x Esports decide to push at his direction, and Mary would be the one who sings that lullaby of death and sends him back to the lobby.
Oh, this is not good for 52 Esports, of course, as they thought that the southern rotation for them will work out in their favor, but sadly that's not been the case, as they themselves have been dropped down to their knees with only one player remaining, I believe, from 52 Esports. Yep, there we have it. Hassan OP, the only final player remaining, and he himself, as we look onto the top right-hand side, the minimap, clearly indicating that he is surrounded. Moving away from that fight towards another one, as we still do have all 16 teams still surviving. It seems like 3x, the fight that they took, has gone against them, as Bablu as well as the Grounders are going to be hearing those shots, and 3x now are getting hammered on upon from two individual sides, from two individual teams, as Kratos has already been eliminated from 3x, and R3D, they're still not done. They are still going to be a part of this fight as they take on those approaches from the rotating teams once again.
Oh yeah, but look at Hassan being a little ambitious over there, trying to engage in a 1v2 situation, decides eventually to back off, or maybe could just do something monstrous, right? Take over his vehicle and just, go for a spin on this beautiful ram that we have created. But Magnus Esports decided to go after Freestyle, as Wasi just trying to spray down all those bullets at his direction, as Faster coming in from the backlines. Drolin, he's been taken down. Mom2 gets that finish instantly secured, as Faster would instantly dive in and get that knock onto its Wasi. It is trades being held left, right and center, as Mom2 decides to charge in at Faster's direction. Also gets that beautiful knock, as Freestyle keep on falling down one after the other, as Magnus, even despite the fact they've taken quite some beating, they still managed to see things through, as Sad Boy from the Faulty Devils will get the better out of Thor from TUF, as fights, they're just happening all over the place.
Oh, they definitely are. This is the southern side that we're looking at right now from the zone itself. The teams making a rotation from the southwestern side, as we of course do have I8 hunkering down and holding on that position. The first blood being drawn, at least for the side of I8, is going to be now, as 14 teams remain. TUF going to be in their crosshairs, as TUF have also tried to capitalize on situations for themselves, but sadly, again, the points they have been able to accumulate, elimination points have been theirs for the taken for TUF, but the numbers for side of TUF have dwindled down, that's for sure, as they are not looking good. At the same point of time, I8 now making their presence felt with all 12 teams remaining. They find themselves at the edge of the zone with Freestyle's final players are buff, taking on shots against Magnus's Zen. Now, Faster, I believe, is going to be the final player from the side of Magnus. Yep, he's going to be the same as 1v1 situation between FS as well as Magnus, as Faster's going to be a little too fast for Zarbaf to be able to respond, as Faster with the UMP is going to be eliminating Freestyle. Thus remaining are going to be 11 teams, but again, numbers advantage favoring Team Star. I8 not Esports still part of this entire saga, but Magnus Faster, he's making a bit too much noise, and Qureshi Sports' Hasni is right there to of course greet him with his Carl spray, and there goes Magnus's dream of getting this chicken dinner.
Oh, of course. I mean, it has been taken away. But Team Magnus, I mean, we were anticipating that northern cluster, right? And they had to falter in that particular area, and could not do much. But I8, the dreams for getting this chicken is still on, already 2 finishes strong. Do have that little bit of a dip to play around with. A lot of cover. This time, I8, they've been making the right movements, but need to stick together as a whole net unit. And just, Kuresh, the players, there's this scouting across, scouting if that compound is up for grabs, because Meteor Shot Sky, they also might be thinking likewise. Of course, you would want to have that little bit of a high ground advantage, as North Esports, they find themselves at the center, kind of getting rounded. It's just a matter of time, as Nocto, one good grenade from this lad side could end up taking down 2 of those players, and Regicide have a really weird shift. You know, all those informations being imparted onto its Nocto. All he needs to do is try to lob a grenade, and if he does that, instead just goes marching in, tries to take that spray, gets the better of Zibian. Can he get the better out of Teen Wolf? Swift to his gun, and no is going to be the answer, as somehow Teen Wolf has responded back, even managing to save one of his teammates over here, as Baz goes after the final player of Sensei and of the Grounders, in fact, sending them back also to the lobby.
Oh, Regicide. If only they would have had that utility right there. At the same time, of course, Abbas is trying his level best to be able to capitalize on the information that he had, and in doing so, Bubbly is going to be brought down to, I believe, a two-man squad. Yep, that is correct, as we do have Pan remaining right here. But again, Regicide's fight is still not yet done, as from one player to the other, as Fix has so beautifully mentioned, they are spread out so perfectly. They've got the information relayed, and now Bublu is the one that is getting hampered on upon from Regicide's one player to the other, as that perfect nade can be seen being drawn against, of course, Pan, and now Pan is going to be dropped down, and thus remaining is going to be one final player. That's going to be Team Wolf, I believe, in the backlines, and for that I8, I believe, are going to be waiting as the zone makes another curveball shift towards the players and the compound of Team Star, with 7 teams remaining for now. What exactly is I8 going to be doing? This is going to be a late entry for them, but where exactly is the opening that's going to be available for them?
Oh, that's something that you know, we'll have to find out eventually. Just goes directly ramming in to that compound, did some good scouting, had that little bit of a higher ground advantage, and now in real close proximities to where Northeast spots are. Amer, he's gonna get himself back on his foot, but for now, this is where Northeast spots really need to understand that this is one of those games that they can really capitalize upon. Get that even chicken dinner that they were looking out for. Team Star Esports looking pretty strong, pretty stable, or have all 4 of their players alive.
Hasti is just being peppered down with all those bullets coming in from Valkyrie side. If he had a scope over there to work around, even a 2 times, maybe a 3 times, that's the very best.
I think Hasni could have already been a dead piece of meat.
Definitely. For Team Star, this is looking very much in control as far as the game itself is concerned and the zone itself is concerned. On the other front, for I8, now this is going to be a very important fight that they need to push through and, of course, make their presence felt and utilize it for themselves. They've only got 2 elimination points for now, but, of course, when it comes down to the position that they're in, they're jumping in from the southern, well, the western side of the zone, and that for them is going to be favoring them because they're at the edge. At the same time, Bablu's final player does get eliminated, and now Team Star, they are at an advantage. They've got themselves split up. God Fury is the one who's up on top on that ridge and going to be able to spot on his opponents. At the same time, of course, his teammates are down in the compound who will be able to thrash any moment any opponent tries to push themselves against their compound. As of now, of course, I8, they seem to be in a bit of a trouble as Ghost has his spotted on. Avenger OP from North Esports is going to be utilizing that Scarrel to his advantage and tries his level best to take on those shots. Was able to damage Ghost, but to no avail, as of course he's going to be able to get that. Well, again, I shouldn't say no avail because again the vest is going to be damaged, the helmet is going to be damaged for Ghost, so the next fight for Ghost is going to be that much more difficult to convert all by those. At the same time, we can see I8's Ghost is the man from I8 who's trying to go ahead and scout out and also be the flank for the team. Should they be changing the strategy for now? Because again, the entry in the zone is what they're trying to focus towards, but it is looking tougher and tougher minute by minute for I8.
Yeah, at least for now. I mean, look at Sultana, Meteor Shot Sky trying to push in from the backlines, but they have to get inside the circle somehow. As Avenger, just waiting behind that little cover of that window. As now things are getting really exciting, interesting. In fact, Ashad, his position could have been given away. Qureshi Sport survived with just manages to get a knock onto its Avenger and could be that opening that Regicide were longing for so long. And Roshan gets the better out of Ghost, but here comes the push. His position has been compromised. I know exactly where he is, but right now Ghost, he's been taken down. Someone needs to get that res onto him as he's getting chipped down by the players of I8. That is going to be Roshan, as I decide to infiltrate inside the compound. They might find Amer in the process. Amer does take a massive amount of damage, and so does IQ, as now he's just administering that first aid, and once he gets done with it, few more grenades are going to definitely follow, as Blade lobbing that grenade into perfection. Does manage to find Amer, does finish him off as well. But I8 also need to understand that Roshan is at the top. In fact, in a little bit of an elevated situation. He needs to get spotted down, and there you go. Indeed does get, as Uzum has also managed to find a knock on his direction. As Koos, there was no chance that they could save him, so they have to let him go. But I8 are in a pristine position right now to contest for this chicken.
Absolutely are, but same can be the case for Team Star as well, because they've got all 4 players, they've got a lot of utility, and they are patiently waiting. At the same point of time, the conversion is what any team is waiting for against Team Star. Now again, for Team Star, if we look at the way they've got themselves spread out, it is going to be a very difficult conversion for them, because if at all one of their players gets spotted and goes down, there is no way that a revival can be pushed from the side of Team Star. But it seems like Team Star is not interested in that, because Miracle is going to be able to push against that opening from Uzum, as I8's Uzum does go down. But of course, the revival is going to be there. Hopefully, it will be there. As of now on our screen, of course, Team Star taking multiple fights. From the other side, it's going to be Usma from Team Star with the UMP in his hand, going to be pushing on to the advantageous position that he had, as he was able to bring down the shots one
player. And now Ash bringing in that Molotov. Sadly, it's just a little too late, mate, because he's going to be in front of you. He's going to be on top of you, and just easily, just like that. Usma with only 3 bullets left. It is going to be able to eliminate the shot right there. Not sure how deadly this weapon can be
in those closer ranges, right? Knew exactly what he wanted, and it's so difficult when you're just pushing alone, right? And that is the kind of confidence that is oozing out of Team Star. And this time they're making sure they want to settle at nothing other than a chicken dinner over here, as IQ is taking some damage and pretty much will patch himself up in no time. But this circle shift also favoring the lads of IQ. Maybe Lakshay, you're just a few finishes away from getting your prediction correct. I8 could have this in the bag, as Regicide and Northeast Sports might fight it out against each other. Just on the very edges, as Amani gets the better out of Sultana, trying to restrict their entry inside the circle, but he himself has to make it 30 meters inside the zone without any vehicle, so hence the smoky trail has been built up, and that is where they're going to be, you know, traveling their way in. But this is where I really felt that Uzum should have just peeked out and lobbed a few more grenades, because had he done that, could have gotten some decent amount of damage being dealt out to the players of Team Star, as Sultana and Miracle both will have themselves up to good HP. As now it all comes down to who the circle favors next. I8 in one of the best spots right now, played out of his cover, but still has a little bit of a ridge to play around, as Qureshi Sports, they yet to make it inside the zone.
They have still about 20 meters to cover for Qureshi, of course. At the same time, for I8, I don't think they know where Qureshi Sports were, and therefore they're being a little too quiet. And now that perfect approach that you were talking about is being pushed on from Blade, of course, as we do have Northeast Sports as well as Qureshi getting eliminated. 3 teams do remain. I8 with a 3-man army. Team Star have already lost one of their players, but Miracle, of course, is going to be rescued from Sultana. But this is the opening that Fixes was mentioning for I8 to once again be able to capitalize. They've been able to hunker down this position and take down the players of Team Star. But in all, Fixes, as you were mentioning about that prediction, I am worried about R3G. Throughout the entirety of the fight, throughout the entirety of the battleground fight, they have been bringing third-party approaches again and again. And that is something that, of course, I8's IQ, big level play, is ready for exactly that flank from the side of R3G. But at the same bit of time, will this numbers advantage take on the perfect story for Team Star, or could it be I8's journey in the making for this chicken dinner?
I mean, the way the circle has been formed, I think it's sort of in the no man's land. Team I8, well, they've got one of their players, but this is going to be a really crucial one. Oh, Ashad just barely surviving though with a sliver of HP, as this is the opening that Baz needed for his team, as one of those players of Team Star has been taken down. This is the perfect time if they want to go in for a push, as Osama, he's trying to get to his comrade and get that revive back up and running. As Miracle and Sultana, they would be the ones trying to provide cover fire. A perfect opportunity for I8 to really try and go in and get the job done. But Regicide, you know, it's really impossible for them to, you know, make it safely into the covers of the circle, because, you know, the way they've built up the smoke path, the moment they decide to step out, this is where Uzum, he's gonna strike, and there you go, Ashad getting taken down, but Uzum getting a little too greedy over there as he gets picked off by Sultana. And now Blade somehow needs to hold the fort, because Team Star, they're going in with the push. They know that this could be their game, and now IQ, he's gonna get that revive and also make sure that I8 get the chicken, as Blade, he's being pushed upon, and it is gonna be Miracle at his direction. Is his position compromised? That's the big question, as Sultana deciding to push in. Blade has been spotted out, and there you go. The push does come in. Miracles, however, gets that beautiful knock secured as Star. They're on a whole different run altogether. Uzum has been brought back to life, but I8 do have a fight amongst them, and they have a fight on their hands. But now IQ and Uzum making sure they have that crossfire angle, but Sultana comes from the backlines as Star somehow take that beautiful chicken dinner to their name with a lot of number of finishes and elimination, 9 to their name, and on the overall rankings they climb to the 9th spot. And this is so perfect for these lads. Got a chicken dinner yesterday, got a chicken dinner today, and they are not looking behind.
They definitely are not. I mean, this, we have to admit,